that is not moving your normally legs, for not saying something else, very fast. Okay, now, the next person who will be leading, will be sharing this contest. I don't think I need to introduce him. Everybody knows him. And he has also been contested many times. And he was a district winner in human speech. And I asked him when, and then he said to me, well, it was so long ago, I don't even remember. Maybe he can tell that to you. And welcome on stage, Jack Vincent.
Welcome to Switzerland, everybody. I've seen so many of you around Europe that it's delightful to see you here in Switzerland with your euros and your credit cards. How is everybody's budget holding up? Good. Can you share your secrets? We don't know. Okay? I know some of you have been in meetings all day, but how about that pasta dinner last night? Yeah? $40 for a plate of spaghetti? Yeah. No, actually, this Swiss don't love their money. It's a myth. Okay? They love your money. So, but you know, it's not always apparent when this guy walks into a bar, a Swiss bar, but something was lurking in the shadows. It's the bartender. He's in the back. He will serve you when your desperation comes high enough that you will pay his price. But of course, at that point, he will pour 1 deciliter of wine. Carefully marked on the glass. How many of you have noticed that? 1 deciliter? Yes, he won't go over. His job will be on the line. He won't go over. But yeah, that's what we do. But you know, I actually love it here. In Switzerland, I've been living here for 15 years. There are a number of customs that I've really come to enjoy. For example, you know, in Switzerland, when you toast, okay, and you clink your glasses, you must, at the point of the clink, you should not be looking at the next, but you should be looking at that person in the eyes. It's very important. So if you have 10 people at a party, okay, you've got 10 clinks, it's like 100 clinks of arms going all over the place, and people are making their eye contact. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, there is also a legend in Switzerland. Okay? If you don't connect eyes at the point of the clink, 7 years of bad sex. So I know the Italians are thinking, bad sex is better than no sex. 7, 14, 21. Now another thing we do in Switzerland is when you go indoors, you take off your shoes. I learned this my first week here. My neighbor came to me and said, please take off your shoes. That was in the office. He worked in the office below me. He came up to reception and said, who sits in that desk? And he was wearing slippers at the office. I'm not kidding. Now in Spain, where I've been spending a lot of time, you don't take off your shoes when you come home. You can be cooking dinner at 10 p.m. You know, we're cooking paella. Okay? And you know, that's normal. If you live over somebody, keep your shoes on in Spain. But we don't do that in Switzerland. Another thing that I love about Switzerland is that if you go to an event and you talk with 15 people, when you leave, you must go and greet them and say goodnight. So there's a lot of time management there. So you have to budget that time. You may say, oh, 20 minutes before we're going to leave, you start saying goodnight to everybody. Now the French don't do that. It's just like, oh wow. You'll see the Dutch standing out front already, you know, they're just like smoking something. But, you know, you must budget your time. So please, observe these things. Observe these things. Now, of course, the pedestrians crossing the street. Okay? You will see it. there will be somebody walking down the street on their mobile phone, and they'll cross. That's Switzerland. Now, I really do pity the Swiss who go to Southern Europe. Joao, how many Swiss did we lose in Oporto 2 years ago? Half dozen? I think one of them was going to be Toastmaster of the Year. Okay. So, when you drive in Switzerland, be careful. When you drive in your hometown, be careful because you may have Swiss visitors. Okay? But this is the beauty of Europe. Okay? The diversity, the playfulness. I mean, everywhere you go, people they're happy to talk about their nationality. They're happy to talk about your nationality, and it's playful. And it's just joyful, I find. And it's one of the things that I really love about living in Europe is that we do make fun of each other. We just have a lot of good fun with that. So I'm here right now to ask you to applaud Europe and the diversity of District 59. Come on. These things now go away. During the speeches, now we get a little bit serious. We put our phones away and all of that for photos, especially flash. But unless a speaker has asked you to take their pictures, there are no pictures with the exception of our official video here. Okay, so we are going to get started. The speakers have been briefed. The 6 finalists from yesterday have been briefed. Their speaking time, 4 minutes and 30 seconds to 7 minutes and 30 seconds. And they will have the green light at 5, the yellow light at 6, and the red at 7. And that light will stay on and no one will notify them that it's beyond 7:30. That's their responsibility. At the end of every speech, we know this game, we just run through it. At the end of every speech, we will have 60 seconds of silence for the judges. So please observe that. At the end, typically we add on a minute, but actually rule book, certainly at the district level, until all the judges' ballots are collected, and they are collected in here. So we don't say, judges, please leave. That needs to be done here. They turn over their ballots to the ballot counters. So, our job here, if you're not even a judge, really, our job here is to send our best speech and speaker today to Vancouver. That's what we're here for. Yes, support them all. Clap a little harder for somebody from your club or from your division or area. But what we really want is the best speaker to go to Vancouver to represent District 59. And that's what I want. And certainly, I know the judges have been briefed on that. So, with that, Chief Judge, Joao, have the speakers been briefed?
Jack, this year we were much more rigorous with the judges. We start at 8 a.m. running a marathon.
Okay.
They are ready physically. So we have some blood tests. So we are, I can assure you they did brief the last 24 hours.
It's too expensive.
Then of course we have training. Every form was delivered and they know the rules. So I think all of them are ready for this time.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chief Judge. Thank you. I will introduce each speaker by name. I encourage you to applaud when they take the stage. Then I will say the title of their speech. I will repeat the title of their speech, and I will say their name, and I will leave the stage. Timers know the rules on when the timing begins. Our speaking order, it's on here and here, but it's first speaker, Cora Hollander. Melchior Glattard. Second speaker, Ricardo speaker, Lelio Cunha. Fifth speaker, Silvia Candido. Sixth speaker, Carol Vosso. So with that, it's time to get started. I would like to introduce our first speaker to the stage, Cora Holliday. With pride. Wear yourself with pride, Cora Holliday.
What we wear is our second skin. It is one of the first things we notice about each other. But if you ask me, it is not what we wear that truly makes an impression, but how we wear it. When you meet new people, what's the first question you ask? Probably their name, right? Well, not when people meet me. Almost without exception, the first question people ask me is, how tall are you? Exactly. I would smile and state how tall I am, without shoes. The response, whoa, that is really tall. As if I just grew another inch by saying it out loud. The next question, why are you wearing heels when you're already that tall? Let me take you back to another afternoon at the mall. I was 15 and in love. There he stood. One half of a twin, smooth mahogany skin, pointy nose, fresh smell. Ladies and gentlemen, I saw eye to eye with a damn pretty pair of leather boots with heels. The salesman in the shoe store sends to my puppy love and fueled my desire. Smell them. The smell of fresh leather. Try them on. So I tried them on. I walk a little. So I walked a little. A bit insecure at first, but getting prouder with every step. And soon I strutted through that shop like Lady Marmalade. I felt good. I felt proud. I felt on top of the world. Pack 'em up, I said to the salesman. Will do, he replied. The next morning, I catwalked into my school and up to my friends, expecting some compliments on my fancy new footgear. Instead, one of them looked at me and said, gee, why are you wearing heels when you are already that tall? Now, friends, I like to say I was above it all. And this had no effect on my self-esteem. But being 15 and self-conscious, it induced in me a heavy case of buyer's remorse. I was actually considering running home, putting those heels back in the closet, and changing to sneakers. What was I thinking? Those shoes were designed for normal height girls, not for me. I was not entitled to heels. I was already tall. No point in highlighting that. No, me? I was designed for modest, flat footwear. Dear Toastmasters and dear guests, what are your heels? That thing you love to wear, love to do, or long to be, but you don't because you are a teensy bit afraid of other people's opinion. Have you ever let that fear stop you? Have you ever kept your heels in your closet? I will admit something. For the longest time growing up, I was not so comfortable with my height. Growth, of course, was unstoppable, but it didn't stop me from trying to counterbalance the effect by shrinking into uncomfortable positions that made me probably like 2 centimeters closer to the people surrounding me. I shared my insecurities with my doctor, and she always encouraged me to wear myself with pride. You can be a basketball player, she said. You can be a model. Do you believe that? I nodded politely. Not yet fully convinced. I just wanted to be less tall. I just wanted to fit in. And that morning in school, just when I was ready to put my newly acquired Lady Marmalade pride aside, I remembered my doctor's advice. And it got me thinking, is the problem really what I'm wearing? Or is it how I'm wearing it? And I realized I was indeed already tall. So those 2 extra centimeters, not going to change that. And you know what? I love wearing those heels. And the good thing is, the more I love what I wear, the better I feel. And the better I feel, the better I look. And I feel great wearing heels, don't you think? Yeah. Dear friends here at Winter Tour, what will you choose to do? Will you bow for the fear of other people's opinion? Or will you stand tall and live life the way you love to? The fear almost stopped me from wearing my heels. But it didn't. And I encourage you to do the same, to wear your heels, whatever those may be for you. It is not what we wear that truly makes an impression, but how we wear it. And when you wear yourself with pride, no one will put you aside.
Silence for the judges, please. Timekeepers. Is up. Our next speaker, Melchior Glatter. pure glamour. A toast, dear Toastmasters and friends, dear Mom. Allow me but a toast. Because here is to you, and here is to me. But most of all, here is to all of our tavern of opportunity. Now, when I'm talking about this tavern of opportunity, it stands for 3 simple revelations that my life was recently raised with. First off, I realized that all of our lives, and this might be interesting for you, all of your lives, are filled with limitless opportunities. Now then, I realized that by seizing these opportunities, all of us are set upon the path to happiness. And happiness means to know how to truly enjoy your life, how to truly live your lives. And last but not least, I realized that the key to seizing these opportunities lies simply with grabbing a drink and taking a sip. And naturally, and I see a couple of startled words, I'm not talking about alcohol here, of course. No, there's no need for alcohol, because this here is an opportunity. And the alcohol is for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I should know, because as many of you know, or will find out tonight, I do love sipping. But it has not always been so. Before I was taught how to properly sip on the opportunities of my life, I was in a rather bad place. Have you ever felt like all of the others have limitless opportunities, whilst you are limited by what you are good at? Well, I have been there. I had, for example, always known that I was not a very creative person, so I never even tried. I had always known that I was going to be a lawyer, and not marrying people. It would have been ridiculous to even think about that, marrying people as a lawyer. So I never even tried. And I had always known that I was way too shy to speak to a great audience like you guys. So I never even tried. The only thing that I knew that I was good at was law. And so I felt compelled to put all of my energy to that one single field of opportunity. As you can imagine, quickly enough, that got stressful. More stress led to less concentration. Less concentration led to more stress. And before I knew it, I was spiraling further and further down, until at some point, I hit bottom. I didn't really sleep anymore, unless I took pills. I didn't really laugh anymore, unless I faked it. I didn't really live anymore. At this time, I really didn't. It was at this lowest time of my life that 3 men that I hold in the highest regard made a so-called intervention. Now, they are the only 3 guys that I will probably ever love like real brothers, probably because they are my real brothers. And so I went up to them and I asked them, how is it, brothers, how is it that your lives seem to be so full of opportunities, whilst mine seems to be void of any opportunities whatsoever? And this is when my youngest brother, Victor, came up to me and he told me, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Every single person's life is filled with limitless opportunities. Imagine it just like a tavern. And in this tavern, there are shelves upon shelves upon shelves of bottles. Now please imagine every single bottle is an opportunity. You shall never know what's inside those bottles, what the opportunities in your life hold in store for you, unless you grab one and you take a sip. So brother, simply go out there and take a sip. Yeah, my little brother really had all of that wisdom. But that was when my second youngest brother, Thomas, joined the conversation. And he said, you know, for once, our younger brother is right. Not often the case, but that time he was. And once you know which opportunities you like, that's where you put your energy, and not where you feel you have to. And from the opportunities you like, you will grow a life that you love. Simply go out there, brother, and take a sip. And that
that is when our third brother, the oldest and wisest, yet of course not the most handsome one, joined the conversation. His name is Nicholas, and he said, "Our younger brothers are right for once, they are indeed. But do not expect every opportunity to work out for you, no. There are opportunities that are not for you, that will be sour drinks indeed. But this is the way of life, this is the path of happiness. Trial and error, brother, trial and error. Sipping and the knowledge of what makes you happy. So simply, go out there, brother, and take a sip." Overwhelmed by all their wisdom, I immediately got even more impressed, of course. But then I went out there and I took a sip. I unleashed my creativity on the world, you could say. And of all things, I began creating handbags made out of old books. A total economical disaster, I can tell you that. I lost a lot of money. But I loved it and I still do. It's remained one of my favorite hobbies to this day. Then I realized that to be divorced, people have to be married at some point. That's quite the revelation for a lawyer, I can tell you that. And only in 2017, I'm going to marry 12 couples as a minister. You could I'm self-providing now with clients. Simply because I tried it out. And last but not least, I realized that I like public speaking, and I joined an odd little club of public speaking. You might have heard of it, it's called Toastmasters. This is the only reason why I'm able to stand in front of all of you here today. Simply because I tried it out. Simply because I took a sip. I'm not going to challenge you to do the same. I'm not going to urge you to imagine this town of opportunity, but I do invite you to do so. And soon, I'm sure you'll feel the same surging spike of emotion that I'm feeling right now in front of all of you today. So I invite you, cheer with me, because, dear Toastmasters, friends, and Mom, here is to you, and here is to me. But most of all, and you never forget it, here is to the talent of opportunity.
Silence for the judges, please. One minute is up. With that, our next speaker, Lelio Cunha. Just ask, Lelio Cunha.
Mom, I didn't get a Christmas gift this year. Because we didn't ask for one. How could Santa Claus know? I was 5 years old. I remember that conversation as if it was today. As the contest chair, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. All of us here have had significant experiences. Me, you as well, all of us. The one experience I'll never forget was due to the act of asking. Let me tell you how it all started. When I was a child, my dear mother taught me, if I want something, I should ask for it. I should act on it. And I do martial arts since I was 9. And in one of the classes, my master told us something like this. Although I'm not religious, I urge you to read Matthew 7:7 and apply it in your daily lives. So I went home, I looked for it, and it said, ask, and it shall be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the doors will be open for you. And although I had a theory, I never put it into practice. I guess I didn't want to annoy others, maybe look needy, or even greedy. So many lost opportunities. Till today, I still wonder if I asked Alicia out, maybe we'd still be love partners. Who knows? Years later, after university classes, on my way to the train station, almost arriving there, I see an advertisement poster, and I cannot believe my eyes. Robin Sharma will give a talk in Lisbon? For those who don't know, Robin Sharma is an international leadership trainer and a book author. The monk who sold his Ferrari, it's his famous. Plus, he happens to be one of my idols. In his books, he also teaches the art of asking. Seeing that poster made me think, I will go home and I'll buy the ticket no matter what. So I go home, I sit on my chair, open my laptop, type the event's name, click buy ticket. This was my face on the side price. 200 euros? No. 300 euros? Nope. 400 euros. That is way out of my budget, I thought to myself. The exact amount of my allowance at the time. If I had that money, I would think twice. I would immediately buy it. But I just couldn't afford it. I really want to see him. So I decided to write an email to the event organizing team, saying that I'm willing to volunteer and help in the event. To what they answered, since you were away from it, all the preparation is done. We already have your CV, and we'll consider you for future events. But thank you for your courage. The hope of seeing my idol is slowly fading away. Just like in the movies and fairy tales, I heard my master and my mom's voice. Matthew 7:7. Ask, lad. Just ask. So I did. I went to Robin Sharma's website and wrote a message in the customer care area. Dear Robin, my name is Len. I'm a Mozambican living in Lisbon, and I read all your books. I know you'll be holding a talk in Lisbon, but due to financial reasons, I won't be able to see you. As I learned in your books, we shouldn't be afraid to ask for the things we want. So here I am, asking you if there's a possibility to see you. Regards, Len. A few days later, I'm walking home with a friend, and at some point in time, I take myself out of my pocket, and I see that I have a new email. Dear Len, I am Robin Sharma's personal assistant. Could you please send us your full name and password number? We are more than happy to have you as a special guest! From now on, for every time that you receive a no, remember, it's not a stop sign. It's a guideline. Thus, my dear audience, I dare you. Just ask. And if it's not given to you at first, ask again. Ask as many times until the doors are open for you. I asked. I never gave up. And I got to attend Robin Sharma's talk. I took all my books to have his autograph, and in the end, I asked him for a hug. At that moment, I felt like calling my dear mother. Mom, I know it's not Christmas yet, but I already asked Santa Claus for a present. And you know what? He has just given me exactly what I've asked.
Minute is up. And our next speaker, Silvia Candido. Ping pong. Ping pong. Silvia Candido.
Have you ever felt judged? Rejected for who you are? I have. Several times. Most recently, on February 4th, a friend of mine sent me an email. Bing! It said, not to criticize, but to inform you. I clicked on the link. It was an interview with a lady who informed us that vegans and vegetarians' brains are 5% smaller than those of the rest of the population. And that the only way to save the earth would be to go back to being hunters and gatherers, and therefore to eat meat. I am vegetarian. How do you feel when someone judges your life choices? Those that embody your values and define who you are. I felt upset. I wrote her back. Boom! Explaining why I made that choice. Not for health reasons, to get a bigger brain. Not for environmental reasons, to save the earth, but simply to protect the lives of animals. She replied,